Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do my first pregnancy update video for you guys. Since my announcement, I posted a poll on Instagram asking if you wanted to see this tonight or if you wanted to see a follow me around day in the life, kind of working from home, what I do in a typical day video, and you guys wanted to see this video. So I don't know why this has been so hard for me to film, and it's not because I don't want to film it, because I probably want to film this more than any other video right now, but I have just been thinking of like everything that I wanted to include in this video, and I think it seemed really daunting to me because I just don't want to forget anything. And so here's what I'm doing, taking the pressure off myself, and if I miss something that you guys want to know about, post your questions below, and I'm eventually going to do a pregnancy Q&A video. I'll probably do a bunch of those. It'll be like a get ready with me pregnancy Q&A video. So that's how I want to do it. Along with that, I want to start a new series here on this channel called, I don't know what, that's what I need your help with, but this is what I want it to be. There are different things that I want to talk about with you guys that I can make separate videos on, and I feel like I just want to do like get ready with me chit chat videos where I talk about some of those things. And I'm thinking about doing that weekly to start, but I can't think of a name. I don't know if I should call it like makeup chats, or I don't know. Just, do you guys have any names for that? Kind of a series where I would hop on here, get ready, do my makeup, and talk to you guys about things that have been on my mind, topics that I just want to cover. Some are about pregnancy, some are not. I just have kind of a list of video ideas that aren't beauty and that like aren't pregnancy, or some that are of things that I just really want to talk to you guys about. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any good ideas for that type of video name. I wanted something unique and cool, and my creative juices are just not flowing with the name creation of this. So if you could help me out, that would be amazing. But let's go ahead and get into my pregnancy update. So I obviously found out I was pregnant on week 4. Now, this is kind of the weird thing. I called my doctor the day that I found out that I was pregnant because I wanted to just make sure that they didn't want to confirm it with a blood test or anything, and my doctor does a urine test to confirm it, so she said as long as I did it once or twice and it came positive, that they don't need to see me for a blood test. But she did say, you know, what was the first day of your last period? And that for me was March 11th. So I found out on April 9th. So I found out I found out on a Monday too, which was the start of my week 4. So they track your weeks in pregnancy from the first week, the first day of your last period. And so that was like a Sunday or Monday for me, whatever day March 11th was, I think. And so every Monday starts a new week for me, which is really great because it's super easy to keep track of. So basically it's kind of funny because you find out on week 4 and it's like 4 weeks of pregnancy are gone. But that's not really true because you've only been pregnant probably for like a week and a half to 2 weeks when you find out. But that's how they track it for the 40 weeks. That's just how they do it. So that was my week 4. And so I did make some different notes. That was really a blissful week for me. I remember I was really just feeling so excited about this new adventure, and I kept texting Tim and messaging Tim and being like, babe, we're having a baby, like this is crazy, this is so exciting, like I can't even believe it. And it was really a week of wrapping my head around what was happening, and that was really cool and really exciting. And so I remember just feeling so good and blissfully happy and just excited that week. For my symptoms, I told you guys that the day that I found out, I woke up just feeling the most tired I'd ever felt in my entire life, basically. And my boobs hurt really bad. And so the rest of the week, my boobs really hurt. That was definitely a really prominent symptom for me. And in the mornings, I was just waking up really, really, really tired. I also had a lot of cramping. So I didn't have any bleeding whatsoever, not implantation bleeding, like not any bleeding before my period, not any bleeding this whole pregnancy. I've not had a spot of blood. And so we weren't really worried about the cramping, but I started cramping probably, I found out on Monday, and I started cramping on about Tuesday or Wednesday. And I cramped for about 10 days straight, where it started to feel worse. Like the first 4 or 5 days were normal cramping, like period cramps, and then it started to get really bad, and I had to take Tylenol a few times because I couldn't move from like the fetal position. And after about like 7 to 10 days, I Googled it and looked a lot online, and I finally was like, Tim, I feel like we should just call. And he was like, yeah, why wouldn't we call? Like, let's call. So I called the doctor, and they said, you know, have you had any bleeding? And I said no. And they said, well, we still want to see you just to make sure everything's okay. And my worry was just to make sure that it wasn't an ectopic pregnancy. So an ectopic pregnancy is a pregnancy that's not in your uterus. So it could be in your fallopian tube or in a place where it's not like a viable pregnancy. So we went to make sure everything was okay. I had an exam. They did some testing for different infections that could cause cramping. All came back negative, so that was all really good. And then we did do an internal ultrasound, or I don't know if they call it like intervaginal or whatever it's called, but an ultrasound. And we got to see it at 5.5 weeks. Really, I was almost 6 weeks at this point. We got to see the little sac, and it's like, it really looks like a blip. I actually have the picture. I could show you guys. This is the first time we saw little peanut. And it looks like this. So that's the little peanut. Look at that little peanut. So tiny, so little. That's what it looks like. It's just like a little nut. So we got to see this amazing picture at almost 6 weeks, which was amazing because it confirmed that it was in the uterus. And they also just measured everything, and I was measuring exactly to the date. So that was perfect. Really, really good signs. And I also had a cyst on my ovary, my right ovary, which was where I ovulated from. And it was about, I think they said it was like 1 inch by 1 inch basically, which I didn't know this, but whatever ovary is the one that you ovulated from when you got pregnant, it forms a cyst that supports the pregnancy. So it produces the hormones and all of that to support the pregnancy while the placenta and all of that is like being formed. It's very cool, very crazy. I didn't know this. So they said that that looked really good and that that might be part of the reason that I'm cramping. But she also just said that some people cramp more than other people, and my cramping has continued throughout my whole first trimester. So I was really worried at the beginning because a lot of times they say that it only lasts a few days, and I was like, why is my body so different and why am I cramping so much? Because it was really painful. And it is, people's bodies are different. So I always recommend talking to your doctor about anything. Like, we have a nurse hotline with our doctor that we can call and they'll answer questions for us, which is so great. So always ask your doctor, because I've learned so much by asking all the questions that I thought might be ridiculous or crazy, but they're not ridiculous or crazy. So we got to see baby at about 6 weeks, and we got to know that like everything was good. It was too early to like see or hear a heartbeat, so we didn't get to do that. But our early OB appointment was at 8 weeks. Let's back up a little bit and talk more about symptoms before we get to 8 weeks. Another reason why we decided to go to the doctor at almost 6 weeks. So it was a Friday, so I was like more than 5.5 weeks. In 2 days I was going to be 6 weeks on that Monday. So another reason why we decided to go was because I was flying to go wedding dress shopping to Columbus, Ohio to be with my mom and my sisters, and we were planning to tell them. But because I was in so much pain, we wanted to make sure that everything was okay before we told them. I don't get to see my family that often because they live in West Virginia, and so I really wanted to tell them in person if I could. And so it was really good. We got the news and the go-ahead that, you know, everything looked good as of right now, and I could go ahead and tell them. So I did tell them, and I'm going to make that a separate video because that story is like too long, telling my parents and Tim's family and all that good stuff. So if you want to see that, post it in the comments below. But at week 5, I was still cramping. I was napping every single day. I was so tired, like more tired than I've been feeling like in my life, basically. And then week 6, really, when I got home from West Virginia, I came home on a Tuesday. So about 1 day into week 6, I started to feel really sick. That's when the nausea really hit, and I describe it just as like a high-grade nausea. So it started off low for a couple days, and then it really escalated. The first week I probably threw up 3 or 4 times, and then every week after that I probably only threw up 2 times a week maybe. It was amazing to me how quickly it came on that I would have to throw up, because I felt nauseous from the minute that I woke up until the minute that I went to sleep. I did not have the nausea keeping me awake all night, which was great. I was able to sleep. I was taking Tums. My doctor told me that taking like Zantac, which I had taken for acid reflux, would help, and I was having a lot of reflux with the nausea, and so I was taking that. It did not help with the nausea. It helped with the reflux though, which was really good. And so from week 6 until week 10, I was really sick. And I think the biggest thing for me with being this sick was the mindset piece of it. I have experienced injuries and illnesses that extend for long periods of time. But with pregnancy, you can read so many things that like morning sickness can last to 12, 13, 14, 16 weeks, and it can last the whole pregnancy. And so you feel like there's a light, but it could be 6 weeks away and you don't know. And so it really, I mean, I remembered feeling just so sick I couldn't really do much. I was laying on the couch, I was watching a lot of TV, and I work from home, so it was easy for me to do that, but I get really bad motion sickness, have since I was a really little kid. And so like I can't read in cars or look at my phone for a second in a car. I will get so sick. I can't do anything on planes. I mean, I just get the worst motion sickness, and if somebody's driving the car and they start and stop too much, I'll get sick. I have to like watch the road and I have to be sitting up front. I've always been really, really sensitive in my stomach, and so basically everything made the nausea so much worse. Even driving, like I just didn't like driving because it would make me more sick. But the two that surprised me were scrolling on my phone literally made me motion sickness, like made the nausea worse, and working on my computer. Both made me really sick. And so for 2 to 3 weeks, I felt like I couldn't do anything, and I just have never lived that life where I can't do anything, because even when I've had colds or had infections or like sinus infections or bronchitis or, you know, had an injury, I could still like be on my computer and working. And I felt like for 3 to 4 weeks I couldn't do any of that, and I felt really just like boxed in by it. And I think my mindset was the hardest thing of, you know, when am I gonna feel better? And so I really just, I kept meditating and doing that, and I kept really working on my mindset, and I kept practicing gratitude and just feeling grateful that I knew I was growing this amazing thing inside my body and that I just needed to adjust to my new normal. But that was a really big piece of it, and I thought I would talk more about that maybe in another video if you guys want to see it, like a chit chat, get ready with me, just how important mindset is in all of it. Because I even had friends that had been pregnant before that had really bad morning sickness the whole pregnancy or until 20 weeks, and they would say like, oh, it might get worse. And every time they would say that, in my head I would say, that's not your story, and everything's like gonna get better and you're gonna be feeling better. Because you just, if you tell yourself that and you think it and you believe it, and it's just gonna start to come to you. And I really believe that. And so if I would have had the mindset that it was gonna last for the entire pregnancy, like I couldn't have dealt with that. Like I needed to be in a space where I knew that I had hope that I was gonna start feeling better, because it did feel like weirdly debilitating. I don't think I've ever experienced 4 weeks of that high of nausea, and especially when I'm not able to throw up, which sounds weird because a lot of people don't like throwing up, but for me, I'm the kind of person that like, if I really need to throw up, like I need to throw up. Like I don't want to have the nausea. And so every time I would throw up, I'd feel better, but it would only last for like a half an hour. So during that time, I had a lot of like difficulties eating things. My biggest craving while I was sick, like nauseous, I ate toast and applesauce every morning. It was so good to me, it tasted so good. And a banana every morning. And then really like midday, I really wanted Pizza Hut breadsticks. That was like very specific craving that I had. Like, I mean, I was like salivating thinking about them, and so I would go pick up those sometimes for lunch and just eat those. But what I did find is my body really wanted meat. And for those of you who know me, I have been vegan or vegetarian for about, just not eaten meat and eaten very little dairy for about 1.5 years. And so this was really new to me. And I kind of denied it for a little bit, and then I am a very intuitive eater, and I'm incredibly in tune with my body, and I always have been. And so I decided that if my body wants meat, I'm gonna give it meat. So I slowly started adding it back into my diet, which is a really big change for me. And my digestion, that's one thing, you guys, that like pregnancy, that is for real. Your digestion really does slow down. So my digestion was slowing down. I was like constipated for the first time in my life, maybe ever. I mean, I am just a very regular person, like, and I was really having trouble, and I was having like a lot of, because I was constipated, I was having a lot of like gas buildup that I just like, I was so uncomfortable and so nauseous. And I'm making this sound really awful, and it wasn't super pleasant. I'm so glad that I feel better now, but it's also like everybody's body is different, right? And so what I really needed to do was just listen to my body. So like during those 4 weeks, I rested a lot. I slept a lot. I drank a crap ton of water, like so much water because that would keep me regular, and I started walking. And that was really hard initially because I was feeling so nauseous, but walking even a mile a day with the dogs or around the block just like kept my metabolism and digestive system moving, and it just would make me feel better. Getting outside and getting fresh air helps with the nausea, it helped with everything. So that was a really big thing for me, for sure. But I started adding meat into my diet probably around week 5. No, it was week 6. It was after we saw the doctor for the first time. So it was a week 6, I started adding meat back into my diet, and I started with like 1 meal a day, and I wouldn't eat a ton of it because I knew that I may have like a weird reaction, not like physically, but more just my digestive system slowing down because meat takes longer to digest than plants and other things that I'd been eating. And mind you, I had been eating some soy, some tofu before this, and like lentils and stuff I would normally eat to get my vegetarian and vegan protein, and that just wasn't doing it, and it started sounding so gross. Like when I was sick especially, I couldn't eat like any of that stuff. It sounded so bad. And soy, actually, from what I've read and the research that I've done, isn't great for pregnancy, and soy isn't good for my body. I've never eaten a lot of tofu, a lot of tempeh, like that's never agreed with me that much. It's not been my favorite way to get my protein in, so I never really ate those like veggie burgers or fake meat and things like that. I would really rely on like chickpeas and nuts and lentil pasta and lentils and things like that to get my vegan protein in. And so when my body wanted meat, I just started working that in. But that was a really, really, really big change for me. And I want to do a whole video on this, like going from being vegan to eating meat again, so I can answer all your questions there and just like living label free. But it was hard to not have judgment of myself when that was happening, and it was hard for me to really embrace the new lifestyle because I'd spent so long not eating meat, but it was tasting so good, and it was just making me feel less sick. And what I found, that if I worked a lean protein into a little bit of it into every meal, even a little bit of dairy, it was making my nausea like less extreme. And so slowly over time, but I will say very little helped the nausea specifically. Like it just kind of stayed and hung around. I had to wait it out. Then around week 10, I really started. I woke up on Monday of week 10 and I literally like touched myself and I was like, oh my God, I'm back. Like I woke up feeling like myself. And that was just like a really, really, really good feeling. And from there, I just started to feel a lot more normal. I finally got to the gym. I worked out one time in my first, like that 4 to 10 week mark. I only got to the gym one time because I was just so sick, and I found that every time I would go to the gym, well, every time, the one time, plus when I would work out at home, because I was doing some workouts at home, my cramping would get a lot worse. And so, I wasn't lifting heavy weights or anything, it just got worse. And so I really didn't get to the gym very often. But around week 10, I started going again, and it felt so good. And I became much more regular. My digestion, I've definitely figured it out how to eat. Definitely like smaller meals for my body, and a lot of people who are pregnant, that works a lot better than bigger meals because it's just easier for your body to digest smaller amounts of food. What's cool is that what I learned, and I believe this is right, what I've read, is that your body's digestion slows down because obviously like you're feeding yourself, but then you're also feeding a tiny little baby growing in there. And so the food sits in your stomach longer because it essentially digests it twice. Once for you and once for the baby. And so that's why your digestion slows down. That's why pregnant women get constipated. That's why we need a lot more water so that the digestion just works works a little bit faster. And also a key point, like chew your food. I know like us pregnant women, you guys, we get hungry a lot, okay? I've been eating a lot of food. Just chew it. Just really, really chew your food and start the digestion in your mouth. Try not to just like, you know, chew it a couple times and swallow. I know that's really easy to do because we're just like, I need the food, right? But the more you chew your food, the easier it is for your body to digest too, because digestion starts in your mouth with your saliva. So fun fact and fun tip on that. Let's see if there's anything else before week 10 that I really wanted to include. Weight gain. Before week 10, so I've weighed 111 pounds for years. my weight does not change at all. I haven't been trying to lose weight. I haven't been trying to gain weight. So I weighed 111 pounds, and my doctor at like 3 o'clock the first time that we went, I weighed 114 pounds. So that's what my doctor has documented. I have 111 because I weigh myself in the mornings, and I don't weigh myself very often. But I just wanted to kind of keep track of it so I can see like how much weight I'm gaining each trimester, each month. And that's not because I'm worried about gaining weight at all. I want to put that out there. It's just so that like I know what's happening with my body. I just like that. And I also very much go by how my body feels. But I just wanted to kind of keep track of it and keep tabs on it and just see how it's changing, because like I said, like my body, I don't gain weight and I don't lose weight easily. It's just, I really just stay where I am. I have to work hard to do both, either gain or lose. So I probably around week 10 was really when my cravings started amping up, and I started really wanting specific kinds of food. I hadn't gained any weight to that point, and I was also sure that I had gained weight, but I hadn't. And that was like crazy to me. I don't think I'd weighed myself since like week 4, since I first found out. And then I weighed myself like right at week 10, and I was like, I can't believe I haven't gained any weight. And Tim was like, don't worry, I've gained it all. Which he hasn't. It's just being dramatic, but it was funny. So I'm super not proud of this, but I'm also going to be very honest with you guys that there was, you know, for week 10 and 11, I eat a lot of fast food, and I never eat fast food. And I don't say that to be self-righteous at all. I just am trying to give you guys the facts. I haven't eaten fast food since I was a kid, like 12 or 13. I don't eat McDonald's. I've never eaten Arby's in my life. I haven't eaten Taco Bell since I was like 13 years old. But Taco Bell was my first craving, and I craved it at week 9. I was running around doing an errand, and I started to feel really sick. And I knew, see, this is the thing, when you're pregnant and you feel sick, you know it's because like you need to eat or you're hungry. A lot of times that happens too, or that'll make you feel better if you eat a little bit. So I knew I needed to eat something, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need 2 soft taco supremes right now with chips and cheese. So I drove to Taco Bell and I ate it in my car, and it was so good, and I was not even mad about it. And then I really was craving, I only ate that maybe twice. I think I've only had Taco Bell twice since I've been pregnant, but I've eaten a little bit more McDonald's. Like I think I've had McDonald's 4 or 5 times, and what I was craving was McNuggets, which used to be, I did eat McDonald's in college a little bit, and I would have chicken McNuggets, and I really liked them. So I was craving McNuggets and fries and an M&M McFlurry. And so I ate that a few times because like the protein tasted good, and I didn't feel like cooking it. There was something about raw meat that didn't settle. So I think that was like another reason why I really wanted fast food, because I only wanted to see meat cook. It was like something with the smell. It just was, I didn't want to cook it. I didn't want to touch raw meat. I just didn't want to do that. So I chose fast food instead. So I've eaten Taco Bell a couple times, twice. I've eaten McDonald's a handful of times. And then I've just been craving a lot of ice cream. So I'm in week 13 now, and I'm going to go up to week 12, and then I'll do kind of, I'm thinking like every other week, although if things start to change a lot and I want to do weekly updates, I might do that for you guys. But basically up to week 12, my biggest cravings are Chinese, Asian, Japanese, like Thai type food. That is what I want more than anything, is like Chinese food. Egg rolls, sesame chicken, pot stickers, wontons. That is what I want. Like, I had 2 servings of chicken pot stickers today. Like, I made 14 pot stickers, I'm not kidding. And strawberries. I am obsessed with strawberries. I ate a whole carton of them on Sunday. Like, a whole carton. And Tim's family, we were at Tim's family's house. Oh my gosh, we were at Tim's brother and sister-in-law's house. And his dad brought a bunch of strawberries, and I ate the whole bowl, and then he was like, here's another carton, and I was like, I shouldn't. And then I ate like half of that one. I bought a huge thing at Trader Joe's, and it on like 2 days ago, and it's halfway gone. I don't know what it is, but strawberries literally taste like heaven to me. They taste, my mouth is literally watering. I don't know, it's crazy, but they taste like magical. Every time I taste the strawberry, it's like I've tasted it for the first time. That's really how I feel. So, so Asian food and Chinese food, that kind of food, and strawberries are my really, really big cravings right now. And then another one is ice cream, and it's in any form, like M&M ice cream sandwiches, ice cream bars, Twix ice cream bars, regular ice cream. Like, I really, 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 really like ice cream. Yeah, those are my 3 biggest cravings through week 12. My mouth is watering so bad, and that's the thing about talking about food when you're pregnant is like, you say it and then you have to have it, and so I'm gonna have to go eat something after this. But one of the biggest things that I've noticed throughout the 12 weeks is just from week 10 to week 12 really started this unreal insatiable hunger. I am the kind of person that can eat like 5 chicken McNuggets from McDonald's, let's say, like in my past life when I was younger, and be totally full. And I never could finish a meal. Like, I would always have something left on the plate. My husband always would make fun of me for it. And it wasn't intentional. It was just because I'm a very intuitive eater, and so I always stop when I'm full, and I'm very aware of that. I am literally insatiable. I feel like I eat all day long, and I'm trying to pick really healthy things. And so I'm trying to just, like, I'm going to Trader Joe's, I'm cooking here more. We're trying to not eat out as much for the next 30 days. I'm not eating any fast food, and I haven't for the last week or so, because I just want to try to be a little, like, cleaner with what I'm eating. At this point, so as of the end of week 12, I had gained a total of 4 pounds, which I think is really good. I think that makes perfect sense for how I've been feeling and how I've been eating, just like the quantity that I'm eating. I don't have a bump yet, which will probably be like the little picture for you guys, my like no bump. It'll be a bump eventually, but I also post on Instagram little bump dates. I'm excited for it to be a bump. I'm only on week I'm 13 and a half weeks now, but my mom didn't start showing till like 20 weeks. Oh my gosh, she was just like a tiny little thing when she had me. But I think I'll start showing like between 15 and 20 sometime in there. I don't know. I don't know how or like when it'll be, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited to get my little belly. So I have gained 4 pounds, and some things that I've done that I've changed up. Obviously, I'm taking a prenatal vitamin. I take prenatal vitamins without iron. I did my iron test back in January when we started trying. My doctor did like a full blood work panel for me just to like double check everything and my iron levels and all of that. And when I was vegan, it was really good and my iron was great. I did a full blood panel at 8 weeks when we did our, oh, I didn't even tell you guys that. I can't believe I'm missing, I had 2 ultrasound appointments. I wasn't even gonna tell you guys. See, I told you I was gonna miss something, but let me just keep going. So I cannot, my stomach can't handle like capsulated iron, like concentrated iron, so I have to take prenatals without iron, which is a gummy, and they taste horrible to me, and every time I take them I want to throw up. My prenatals make me really sick, and I really truly hate them, but I take them every day and it's great. I'm not doing any kind of protein powder, whey, or plant-based, and that's just because I don't really like protein powders very much. I'm not drinking much caffeine, although what I have been craving is coffee, so I've been having decaf, and I'm not a coffee drinker for years. I haven't had coffee for years. And then green tea, and I've been really wanting like iced green tea from Starbucks, but they don't have decaf, and so what I'm doing is just making my tea at home. So I use uncaffeinated green tea, uncaffeinated, Abby? Decaffeinated green tea, and I do like 7 cups, and then I steep 7 tea bags for like 4 minutes, and then I refrigerate it, and I drink that all week, and it's been amazing, and it's saving me like $25 a week by going to Starbucks, which is amazing. But other than that, I'll have like a little bit of soda occasionally if my stomach's really upset, because I still do have days where I feel sick. It's really from 11 to 12, I started to get sick again. So like through 11 and through week 12, I just started to feel like kind of sick again. Like I'll have a good day and then a sick day, and then, you know, it just kind of alternates a little bit, which is okay. George is saying hi. I generally feel really good now. But I totally forgot about these ultrasounds, and I don't want to not talk about them. So we got to get an ultrasound at 8 weeks, which is our early OB appointment. So we saw the nurse practitioner, and both our nurse practitioners. What is George doing? Sorry, I don't speak, George. So both the nurse practitioners at our all women's practice that we go to is like, they're amazing. So great. So we saw our nurse practitioner at 8 weeks. We got to see the heartbeat and the flutter, which was so exciting. And baby was like a little bigger, which was so great. And we just got to do like a checkup first OB appointment where they kind of go over all the info, like things to do, things not to do. Here's the list of medications that are safe for you, all that good stuff. I have like a huge packet of information. And then we had at 11.5 weeks, we got to hear the heartbeat. So it wasn't an ultrasound, but it was, it's like a heartbeat machine. And they like put it over your stomach and it sounds like air in there. It's crazy. Like your uterus sounds like air. And I got to see my doctor. This was our first doctor's appointment, and we'll see our doctor the entire rest of the time. You see the nurse practitioner for the early OB and your first postpartum, but we'll see our OB the whole time now. So I saw our OB and she's so excited. She wants us to have a little redhead. She's like, I'm just hoping for a little redhead. I don't care if it's a boy or girl. She's so cute and we love her so much. She's fantastic, and she is the one that founded this practice. It's an all women's like gorgeous practice in our neighborhood. It's so great. And so anyway, they put it over your uterus, and she's like, it might take me a minute, so don't panic. And so she's putting it over there, and I'm like, oh my God, is it gonna be there? And then you just hear it, and it's like, poof, 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 poof. It's so cool, and the heartbeat was really high, and really good, not like too high. It was like perfect, she said. And it was just really exciting to hear it. It was like hearing our baby. It was, oh gosh, it was so freaking cool. It was so cool. So our next OB appointment will be at 16 weeks, but our next ultrasound is at 20 weeks. Yeah, we have our next appointment at 16 weeks. I think it's on July 2nd, and then we'll go back at 20 weeks. And so all really exciting, you guys. The first trimester overall, I'm glad is over for sure, but I'm just really glad that my morning sickness, really grateful that it really lasted intensely for 4 weeks and not longer than that, because I know a lot of people can experience it for longer. And I've also figured out more how to deal with my sick days, where I know that when I start feeling sick, I really need to eat, and I just need to kind of stay on top of like having a snack every couple of hours. And so that's been really, really helpful. And also another thing is that I wanted to tell you guys that I just found out, and everything you want to ask your doctor. So if you have like pregnancy questions, unless they're like for me and my pregnancy, please don't put them below if they're like doctor related, because it all depends on your doctor. All different doctors give different kinds of things and regulations. So for me, I'm not supposed to get spray tans. You can use like tanning lotions, but they don't know what happens when you inhale the chemicals, and so because they're like airborne when you get a spray tan. So I'm not getting any spray tans, although I am going to start fake tanning. I need to go get my Saint-Tropez. I think that's what I'm going to get. It's always my favorite. If you have other favorite fake tan lotions and things like that, mousses, put them below, because I want to still have kind of like a nice bronzy look for summer. So yeah, those are the things that I for sure want to update you guys on. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I have like a whole thing of all the books that I got, the apps I use. I feel like that's another video. This video is already going to be 30 minutes long. So if you want me to do a I don't know, that kind of video, like the first books I bought, the apps we use, I don't know, any other things, like I can put that into another video, and I could also put that in like a weekly update video too. I just think this video is going to be really long because it was a whole trimester. And I'm just trying to think if I forgot anything. I swear George knows that I'm pregnant. I don't know about Toby, but George has been so needy and so clingy, and I don't even have a bump, but he just like has wanted to love on me. It's been really like in the last 3 weeks, and Tim's noticed it too. He just wants to be near me, and it's so interesting. And I've said the whole time, I was like, when we found out we were pregnant, I was like, George is gonna change, babe, as soon as this baby is born. December 16th is our due date, by the way. As soon as we have this baby, like George is going to want to protect it and just like be around it. I know it. I think it's going to be his job, like to be this baby's like big brother. And Toby's like such a mama's boy, and Toby can't get over that. Toby will always be like my boy, and he'll want to be around me, but I think George is going to really want to be around the baby. Yeah, you're right here. Oh my goodness. Hi, buddy. Come up here. Come up here. Can you say hi? He's too big, so I can't lift him up like I can with Toby. But I just think it'll be George's like job, like this baby, George is gonna feel like this is my baby in a really cute way. So I just think like already when we go to my in-laws house. They just had a baby at the end of January, so she's 4 months old, and George, if she cries, he just sits by near her, like 4 feet away from her, and he just waits. And then if nobody like tends to her, he like goes up to people and he'll give a little cry, and then he goes and sits back by her. Like, I just think he's a baby dog, you know, like I think he's gonna really do well, which is exciting. I just like, I love it. They're just gonna be like little big dog brothers. That's so cute. I love it. If you guys, yeah, whatever questions you guys have for me, put them below. I have talked your ear off, I know. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you like pregnancy updates and you want to see more of these, please give this video a thumbs up so that I know. I want to make sure that I'm like creating videos that you guys want to see and all that fun stuff. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching this, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah!